To MWR's Next Level Strategies. Now that you know how MWR's 72-hour money challenge experts can shift your taxes, interest, expenses, and debt payments back to you from the government, banks, and big business, it's time to take your finances and lifestyle to the next level by turning these savings into passive streams of investment income. Our wealth experts can help you make this a reality by providing you with the best ways to save, grow, and protect your money tax-free with little to no risk of loss. They do this by utilizing high-yield investment strategies that have been used by the wealthy for decades. Strategies that, until now, have been withheld from over 95% of the American population. Why? Because most of the companies that provide these strategies only focus their marketing efforts on individuals that earn $250,000 per year or more, also known as sophisticated investors. This has made the wealthy wealthier, while excluding the people that need it most. Well, not anymore. With your MWR membership, you'll now have full access to your own personal team of wealth experts that can analyze your current savings or investment portfolio and/or help you design the wealth plan that is best for you. And just like all our services, our wealth experts will do the work for you. Their first goal is to help you set up and structure your own self-banking, private reserve account, or diversified cash flow account. Imagine being able to participate in stock market gains without ever having to experience those scary losses. And how would you like to be able to borrow from yourself while the money you borrowed continues to earn interest, as if it never left your account, with no taxes, fees, or early withdrawal penalties? Well, now you can. In addition to being able to become your own bank, our experts will also help you participate in one of the oldest, safest, and most profitable wealth-building strategies: land banking. This strategy gives you the ability to buy land in the path of growth at 20 to 40% below market value that is located and purchased for you by real experts with a proven track record of success. They can even show you how you may be able to become a landowner without ever having to write a check. But it doesn't stop there, because our precious metals experts can also provide you with the knowledge and access you need to start accumulating gold, silver, and palladium as a ratio player in the precious metals industry, instead of just the typical buy and hold investor. This strategy allows you to use the gains on your precious metals to accumulate even more precious metals, so you can compound your returns without having to use up all your cash to purchase more. And last, but certainly not least, MWR's Trust My Assets experts can help you live and leave a legacy by providing you with everything you need to establish a series of private trusts specifically designed to legally, ethically, and morally eliminate taxes, while also providing your family with the maximum amount of protection for all of your assets at a fraction of the cost. In the words of John D. Rockefeller, your goal should be to own nothing but control everything, just like the wealthiest people in the world have done for decades. The results? Your money grows and works for you. You become the bank instead of ever having to depend on one again, and you get to participate in the same asset accumulation strategies used by the wealthy, while also being able to secure you and your family's legacy for generations to come. With that said, it's important to mention that everyone's financial situation is different and results may vary. However, with your own team of financial experts, you'll have peace of mind in knowing that you can get confidential and compliant results provided by licensed and qualified experts. In other words, you never have to share any of your personal financial information with the person that shared MWR Financial with you. So, what are you waiting for? Get back to the person that referred you to this information so you can start increasing, multiplying, and protecting your income and assets today.
West Coast and everywhere in between. Welcome to MWR Make Wealth Real Next Level Strategies Backstage Pass Live. I am Darrell R. Banks, 2-star executive director and founding member with this incredible company, MWR, and your host of this weekly corporate event where you get to hear from the experts and invited professionals to give you the education you need to succeed to get on the other side of money. Please take these last few moments to get your active members, partners, and teams on this platform so they can see and hear the true value of such an exclusive invitation-only next level strategy where we connect you with a team of experts who will turn your expenses back into income for you. Now, let's see what city and states we have out there that has joined us in the country today. Man, Chicago, welcome to the platform. Goldsboro, welcome to the platform. South Carolina, welcome to the platform. Dallas, Texas, welcome to the platform. White Plains, Lewisburg, North Carolina, welcome. South Carolina, welcome. Las Vegas, welcome. College Park, Georgia, welcome. Atlanta, Georgia, welcome. Fort Stewart, Georgia, welcome. Durham, North Carolina, welcome. Laurinburg, North Carolina, welcome. California, welcome. Los Angeles, welcome. Paterson, New Jersey, welcome. Louisiana, welcome. Greeley, Colorado, welcome. Queens, New York, welcome. Connecticut, welcome. Listen, while we're still getting a lot of people chiming in, I have got my pen and my pad to take copious notes. I definitely advise you to get yours as well. I'm a product of a product, and you're going to hear this information tonight from the expert himself, no other than our next level strategies, Mr. Ike Manello. Mr. Manello.
What's going on, Daryl?
Listen, if it gets any better, I won't be able to stand it. Thank you so much. Good to see you, sir.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited to be here. Over a year now since we partnered with MWR, and today is going to be all about debt, right? We're going to talk about the debt strategy that MWR is using to help the world eliminate debt. So I'm excited to get into it. So real quick, I'm going to share my screen. And again, there's some of you who it's been a while since I've been on here. So some of you who I haven't got a chance to meet yet. And I look forward to meeting a lot of you as we continue to go on. I mean, but here's what's happened over the last really 30 days. I mean, things are going viral. I mean, we got Euphoria going viral over here. We got the 72-hour money challenge. That's going viral. And so we're just a small part of the MWR membership. And so, but I'm proud to go over the Diversified Cashflow Account. And today, as I go through it, the one thing I want to talk about is going to be debt. Now, the Diversified Cashflow Account, or short for the DCA, goes into many things. But the number one thing first we like to attack is debt. Can you use it as your bank to become your own bank and to live tax-free and to buy real estate, to do things, to retire? Absolutely. But today I want to focus on the number one thing, the number one challenge that we're having in our society. Because see, most of us think that debt is just us. I know years ago, I was afraid to talk about debt because I thought I was the only one. Well, this was taken in 2020, but you can go to the usdebtclock.org and you can see the red just keep ticking. And when you see that, I want you to understand that debt is not a me and you problem. Debt is an everybody problem. It's projected to where by the years 2035, debt is not only going to be to the point to where it's sky high, but it's affecting Social Security. It's affecting Medicare. It's a big problem that a lot of us are afraid to take on. And so what we're doing with the Diversified Cashflow Account is we're using this as a vehicle to not just get rid of debt, but to eliminate it forever. And what we do is we first start by education. See, the world is going to want you to believe, and I'm going to say the world because I'm not going to name any names, right? Wall Street, but they're going to want you to believe that you should take your money and you should park it in maybe a 401k, right? Or an IRA. And they're going to say, leave your money there for the next 20 to 30 years. And I always think about this, and I want to ask you this that are watching this. Is there anything that we actually leave for 20 or 30 years? For example, would you get a loaf of bread and leave it for 20 or 30 years? No, right? Would you buy a car and say, you know what, that's a nice car, but I'm not going to drive it for 20 or 30 years? See, they tell us to do things with money that we would never do with anything else. Prime example. Think about this. Do you think taxes are going to be lower, higher, or stay the same over the next 15, 20, 30 years? I think we all know it's going to be higher. So the big challenge is we have debt going up, but income isn't. So if you take a look at this, the median income, every time I see this, it's always crazy to me. Back in 2000, the median income was $31,000. The average home price was $164,000. Fast forward to now, the average income is $35,000 and the average new home is $326,000. So what's happening is inflation and things are going up, but our income isn't going up. So needless to say, we have a debt problem. The challenge for most of us is to figure out, how do we solve this problem? And that's where MWR and the 72-hour money challenge is really taking over, because for most of us, we have no idea where our money's going. Without a financial planner, without somebody to say, hey, let's sit down and let's put together a plan. I know for me, before I had a look at the DCA, before I had the power of this, I didn't have a financial plan, and that's where most people are. So I tell people all the time, if you were to go out and talk to 10 of your friends, I can guarantee you, and you say, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Most of them know what they're doing tomorrow. What are you doing next week? Most of them know what they're doing next week. Do you got a financial plan? Not most of them don't have a financial plan. And it's not a fault of theirs. It's really a fault of society. The goal is to help people not plan, so that the plan can be already made for you. So our goal is to create a plan, right? Know what your money's doing, create the plan, and then get the guidance to help. And think about these questions, because for the most part, whenever people read these questions, what if I can show you how to get out of debt, build wealth without spending additional money? What would your life be like if you could accomplish this? And I'm talking about debt and everything, because a lot of people, whenever you say, hey, if you want to become debt free, they say, oh, yeah, I can pay for my car. Yeah, I don't have any debt. The only debt I have is my mortgage. And I'm here to say that the mortgage might be the worst debt that we have. And let me give you an example of that. So first, let me talk about how we do this. First of all, there's two methods. One of them is called snowball. Most of us understand snowball, but we understand it from a debt perspective of taking a small amount of money, paying off a debt, then taking the money we used to pay on that debt, and then putting on the other debt, right? Park that. We're still going to use snowball, but we're going to use it a different way. Then there's the avalanche, where you take the one that has a highest interest of your debt, you pay that off, and then you take that money you're paying on there and you take it to the next one. Both of these strategies work. And a lot of times, the people that try these strategies, they'll see effort, they'll see a little movement in their debt, but overall, what ends up happening is it's not enough to eliminate the debt. Why? Because habits get in play. So what we're saying is, well, what if there's a way to take the best of both worlds? Meaning, some people say snowball's better. Some people say avalanche is better. I don't know which one's better. What we do is we trust the system, the software we created. What the software is going to do is going to say, okay, let's take a look at all your debts, and we're going to figure out which method is going to be best for you. But we're not going to say, hey, this is the plan, take this plan and use it to pay off your debt. We're going to say, let's combine this software with the DCA, right? Let's instead of taking the money and putting it in the bank, let's take this money the extra money that you used to pay to these debts, whether it's snowball or whether it's avalanche, and let's take that extra money and let's put it in the diversified cash flow. What does that do? Number one, it puts you in a position to automatically start getting compound interest, uninterrupted compound interest. Because without compound interest, for the people that have mortgages, you're fighting what we call an amortization schedule. And I always show this because sometimes I'll talk to people and they'll say, man, things are pretty good. I'm glad I locked in a 5.1 interest rate, or I'm glad I locked in a 3.2 interest rate. And I'm always joking around with them, but I always say, do you know that interest rate that you have right now, you won't pay that interest until the very last year, right? The way the game is set up, it doesn't matter what your interest rate is on your mortgage. You're set up to lose. So what we do is we say, okay, let's line up your debts. And our goal is first to see if we could use money that you're already spending and reallocate it, right? So this is an example of a family. And if you notice, they were spending extra money on their debt. Sometimes, or most of the time, for those of us who are trying to get out of debt, we're taking, I mean, I know I used to have a $50, say, what's the minimum on your credit card? $50. And then whenever it's time to write that check, I'll be like, oh, all right, I'm gonna put an extra 25 on it this time, right? I'm gonna pay 75 today. And sometimes I'm feeling real good and I'm saying, I'm gonna put an extra $100. But for most of us that are trying to get out of debt, we always will try to look for extra money that we have to put toward that debt, which is the right thinking when we don't have the right vehicle. Now with the diversified cash flow, what we're doing is we're looking for that extra money and saying, instead of taking that extra money and putting it toward the debt, how about we take that extra money and put it somewhere to where we still have access to it? We're not locking it up, but we're going to let that money start gaining uninterrupted compound interest. So then we take a look at savings accounts. We take a look at 401ks. We take a look at any other money. Now, some of you are saying 401k, I was told not to touch my 401k. I was told that the 401k is the best vehicle in the world for retirement. I always ask people this because the biggest challenge with our thinking is what we've been taught. Think about 10 people right now that are retired with a 401k, that are completely happy, that don't have to have another job, and that can live off their retirement. Whenever I'm in a crowd speaking, I can't have one person stand up and say, I know 10 people like that. Because the truth is the 401k and these IRAs are set up on a tax deferred basis. And we already said, we know taxes are going up, right? So we take a look at the outstanding debts and we say, let's line up the debts and let's first eliminate the mortgage. Let's first set up a plan to eliminate the mortgage. Why do we want to eliminate the mortgage? Because all the other debts we're going to snowball or we're going to avalanche those. But the mortgage is the one that's going to hit us the most with interest. Why is that? Because let's take a look at this person as a 5% interest rate. On a 5% interest rate, their first year, 78% of all their payments is going to interest. 78%. So what happens by year 10? 65%. So some of you on here, you're like, you know what? We already knew that. That's a trade-off we do in order to get a mortgage. We got to get a 30-year. That's just how it is, man. And I say, okay, that's fair. We think we know, except what happens? By year 20, we're still paying 42%. When do we actually pay that 5% interest? How about in the last year? Well, what's the challenge with paying the 5% interest in the last year? The challenge is that most of us move within, the statistics have shown, within year 1 to year 15, most of us are moving and get another home, refinancing. So most of us stay in an area where we're paying 78 to 65% of all our money is going to interest. How do you get out of debt when 78% of your money is going to interest? You don't. But what happens is if we could take that extra money, put it in the diversified cash flow, get uninterrupted compound interest. Now you set up like this couple right here, Renee and Anthony, to where their current before they had $36,000 in retirement. They had $300 a month, 5% interest rate on that mortgage. What they were going to have in their retirement before taxes was $408,000. Now, obviously, if you're tax deferring, if you defer your taxes, what's going to have to happen? Well, by the time it's time to retire, a big chunk of that is going to come out. How about 25%? So by the time they were ready to retire, before they sat down with us, they were going to pay $306,000. They were going to have $306,000 for retirement. That was what it was going to be. Thanks to the 72-hour money challenge, and then also partnering with the DCA. This same, again, what did we do? All we did was reallocated the money that they were already spending. We looked for the 401k as a tax deferred vehicle. We said, let's get you in a tax-free situation. Now this same family is out of debt in 7.8 years, saved $122,000 in interest, which, by the way, over a 30-year time frame, because remember, they were set to pay off their debt in 30 years, save over $1 million. Now, here's a question I always ask people. If you didn't have debt, how much more could you put for retirement? Think about it. Think about yourself right now. Think about what you pay on a monthly basis to all of your debt. If you did not have debt, couldn't you take half of that? Because I would say all of it, but I know y'all better than that, right? You ain't taking all of it. Some of it you can go shopping, hey, treat yourself. You debt free, but take half of it, put it away, and then what happens? Now you're in a situation to where you retire with over $1 million in retirement, save $122,000 in interest. This is actually an average plan. Since we partnered with MWR over a year ago, hundreds, if not thousands of people have had this same experience with the diversified cash flow. Because if you can get yourself in a position to where you can get out of debt in 9 years, reduce your taxes over time, and then more importantly, retire in a situation where you could be debt-free and tax-free retirement. What would that do for you? And the question I have for you is this. I know if you're on here, I know most of you already have a plan. The question is, are you taking advantage of the 72-hour money challenge and getting 9 out of 10 people that you see around that don't have a plan? Are you talking to them? Because what would it be like if the people that you know, if they could reduce their debt, if they could improve their cash flow, and if they didn't have any taxes? See, most people just don't have a plan for that. And that's where the diversified cash flow comes in. And that's why we're so proud to not only have partnered with MWR on this, but we're so proud of what the 72-hour money challenge is doing. And it already changing people's life. So appreciate that, Daryl. I'm gonna let you take over from there.
Wow. All right, listen, this information you just given us is amazing. We definitely appreciate the knowledge that you're giving us. And we want to have this plan set up. Again, I'm a product of the product and I see what it's doing for me. Thank you so much. But listen, we want to tell each and every one of you, be sure that you are registered for the Get Loud event, May 31st, June 1st. Go to makewealthrealevents.com, makewealthrealevents.com, and get registered so we can get loud for this information. With that being said, we'll see you on the platform next Thursday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Have a fantastic evening. Thank you so much.